Ladies and gentlemen, this is your AEW Dynamite review on Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. And for some odd reason, my guest here decided to show up tonight and wear the same shirt. I think we got a problem here, dude. You
I,
can't
I I don't know if I call it a
you
problem.
the same shirt as me. What is going on?
Hey, I mean, I'm all elite, and I mean I know you are too. So I mean we gotta show off our pride. We gotta show off our fandom, man. And I mean this was unplanned, and I don't know if I'd call it a problem. I think I just call it a happy coincidence.
All right, fair enough, a happy coincidence, but it's like that Spider-Man gif that's on social
We
media.
need. I swear, man. After this review, I'm gonna get that meme. I'm gonna put both of our faces on it, and I'm gonna put AEW shirts. I'm gonna try my best to put AEW shirts on both the Spider-Man, and I'm gonna make that a gift. I might make it my cover photo on Twitter. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
you should do that.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at that editing stuff, but you should do that, right? You should do that.
I'm sure I can use like Snapchat or some sort of app to get it done. So
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But this is
yeah,
your Dynamite review, August 4th, 2021. Matching shirts here tonight. Um, good show. Good show. Not great, but obviously we're gonna take things a little bit differently here tonight. We're actually because I know that everybody is going to be talking about that main event. Cody Rhodes, Malakai Black. I've been loving everything about it going into it. You had good versus evil. You had black versus white. Cody Rhodes was wearing all white tonight, which I mean, they've really touched up on that aspect, which I've loved. And I'm sure we're going to talk about this. We'll talk about it a little bit now before we get into the review. Then we'll obviously talk about it when we get to the main event. But the first thing that I want to state is after tonight and what Cody Rhodes did for Malakai Black after tonight, I never, and I mean I never, want to hear anybody complaining about Cody Rhodes not putting over talent. What he did tonight was literally put over Malakai Black. Did he get any offense in at all?
maybe just a little bit, but barely. It was very. This match was very Brody Lee esque from the Saturday Night Dynamite that we saw all those months back.
Yeah. Would you say it's greater than the Brody Lee moment? I don't know. I wouldn't take it that far, but
I probably wouldn't go that forward. I feel like the Brody Lee moment was just a little bit more special. I feel like it meant a little bit more, and just looking back at like how Brody Lee. I mean, we're not going to sit here and deny that Black wasn't underutilized in WWE, but Brody Lee was a guy that could have been like really something. He could have really broken out as somebody like other than just one of the guys in the Wyatt family. Like they had so many obstacles and so many like ways they could have booked Brody Lee in WWE, and like he shows up in AEW and is instantly just a major hit when he's the exalted one of the Dark Order, and so I just feel like that particular moment it tugged at the heartstrings a little bit more than say this one with Malachi Black, but tonight was definitely an amazing moment.
I think this was an outstanding debut. I honestly, you look at the top debuts in AEW, in my opinion, John Moxley's number one. There's no doubt about it. In a couple weeks, CM Punk's probably going to be number one, but wink, wink there. Um, but right now, John Moxley, number one, probably. Um, I put Brody Lee up there. I would put Eddie Kingston up there with the match against Cody. I would put Malakai Black up there as well. I think his debut was absolutely perfect. I was a little bit worried because the match started at 9:47, but I did not know what was coming. This match went 5 minutes. This was the I think this match got the least amount of time tonight, and thinking about it, it was perfect. And with the ending, which we're going to get to later, the ending seems like it's going to result in another match that is probably going to happen at All Out, and I'm going to pitch what kind of stipulation I think is going to happen because, if you guys did not watch the Road 2 series, Malakai Black was talking how Cody should just go home and leave the young lions to themselves, such as Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson. Leave the young lions to himself, go be with their wife, and start the family off. That's what he said on the Road 2. And I'm going to imply that into what I think is going to happen next with this Cody Rhodes and Malakai Black. But another thing that was clear about this, number one, Daily's Place was super, super into this match. And Malakai Black was clearly the fan favorite in this match, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ever since Malakai Black's first set foot in AEW, I mean, everybody's been behind him. I mean, and ever since, and then this was coming right after a feud that no one really cared about with Cody and QT Marshall, and people were just kind of, just losing their I guess their fandom just a little bit with Cody, just because they were kind of really trying to shove the whole like America versus foreigner, gimmick that we've seen played out for so many years in wrestling with him and Anthony Ogogo. So I feel like Cody's cause wasn't helped all that much going into this feud after just being in a not so great feud. But yeah, Malakai Black, I mean, I feel like, just about anybody you probably put him up against, he was going to get a bunch of cheers because, I mean, people know Malakai Black. They know how underutilized he was in WWE, and they know that this guy can truly be a star if the booking is all correct. And up to this point, man, I mean, Malakai Black is one of the best booked men in wrestling right now. He's one of the most protected men in wrestling up to this point, and it's just everything about his aura, his character. I mean, it's beautiful to see. And like a lot of this is him like coming up with these ideas. I'm pretty sure like the theme music tonight was like the music that he came up with. His debut, his literal debut. He came up with his own like debut, like with the lights going out a couple times. That was his idea. So it's like, and you see what happens when you let wrestlers like have some sort of freedom with their creative. And so it's there's no doubt that people were going to be cheering Malakai Black in this. I wasn't surprised by this whatsoever.
And I think once we get to Chicago, it's going to be even louder that people are going to want Malakai over Cody. So we're going to talk about the match and the outcome a little bit more when we get to the match itself. But folks, before we get into tonight's festivities here for Dynamite, got some videos of reviews for you guys to go check out if you have not already. We got the Monday Night Raw vlog from Monday, over 700 views on that review. So thank you all for tuning into that. And we got NXT last night. NXT was painfully boring. And the main thing coming out of NXT is the Adam Cole situation and if he is going to re-sign with the WWE or not. But Wesley, before we get into tonight's show, Monday, AEW sold out the United Center. They sold out 20,000 seats for Rampage on August 20th with a little teaser by Darby Allin last week that CM Punk is going to be there. And he's going to be on that show. There's not a fucking match announced, and the show hasn't even premiered yet. It's going to premiere next Friday, but the show has not even premiered on TNT yet. This is a massive, massive success for AEW, selling out one of the biggest arenas in the United States with the United Center. And I'm pretty sure they're going to bring their A game when they get to the United Center. And I think we're in for one of the most historic nights in the last decade since Daniel Bryan overcame all the odds and won the WWE Championship. I'm not saying nothing in AEW has been historic. There's been a lot of historic moments, but you're talking about moments that are going to be talked about for years and years and years. People still, to this day, talk about Daniel Bryan winning the WWE title against the Authority, right?
Right. Yeah, it's 7 years later. It's still a highly talked about topic because it was such a genuine, amazing moment. And I mean, it's definitely one of my top favorite moments ever in pro wrestling, man. Just the fact that I got to just, live through that moment and through that time period of Daniel Bryan making his way to the top. And Daniel Bryan being my favorite wrestler, I'm gonna be a bit biased towards the guy, but I mean, still, I mean, if you're a pro wrestling fan, there's no way you weren't a fan of that whole entire run that Daniel Bryan had back in 2014. And what we got set up, man, in a couple of weeks in Chicago, it's gonna be something, man. Sold out in 5 minutes, and then WWE and Vince McMahon want to say AEW isn't competition, huh? They're not competition. They sold out a 20,000 seat venue in 5 minutes with no card, nobody announced for that show.
The show hasn't even premiered yet.
Exactly. 20,000 seats sold out 5 minutes. All because of a CM Punk tease. People know what's coming August 20th. Me and you, Joseph, we know what's coming August 20th. AEW is not going to tease something like this and not deliver. They will deliver. I trust Tony Khan so much. He's going to deliver August 20th. Mark my words.
Is it going to be one of the most historic nights of the year and in the last few years, you think?
You're damn right. You're damn right. It's going to be one of the most historic nights, man. The pop that will break out from that Chicago crowd is going to be deafening. I mean, but the speakers in my TV will probably like burst by how loud that pop is going to be in Chicago come August 20th.
It's going to be unbelievable, man. I am. Can it just be August 20th already? No disrespect.
I know, man. I know. I mean, we just gotta wait 16 more days, man. 16 more days, and we're there.
Yeah, we got the premiere next Friday. We got Dynamite, of course, but man, can it just get here already, man? I have a feeling I'm gonna be doing cartwheels once Punk debuts.
Yeah. Hey, man, if you do it, you gotta record it. You gotta record it, put it on Twitter. You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to embarrass myself or anything, but let's get into tonight's show. We had started off Daly's Place. Was Daly's Place sold out tonight? I don't think so.
It was like nearly sold out. I think they still had like about 400 to 600 tickets still left. So
okay, so this place was almost sold out tonight. We started off with Chris Jericho and Juventud Guerrera in Labor number 3. Chris Jericho had to win the match with a top rope maneuver. He did just that. Hit a Judas effect off the top rope, which looked clean as hell. It looked really, really good. And the beginning was strange. Juventud Guerrera, like, he was going for a Hurricane Run off the top rope, and he kind of like power bombed himself or whatever. A little bit sloppy. The best thing that's came out of this was MJF. MJF insulting the Jacksonville crowd. Tony Schiavone. I mean, he was gold tonight on the commentary team. He is an absolute gem, man. He is an absolute gem. So Jericho gets the win here in 12 minutes over Juventud Guerrera. After the match, Jericho gets attacked by Wardlow, and Wardlow gives Juventud the F10, and then he puts Jericho on the top rope, has him by the throat, and gives him a knee to the face. MJF then is on the microphone on the stage with fans absolutely yelling at him, which is MJF thing to happen. Fans yelling at MJF. And MJF says, well, Chris, if you haven't figured out already, Labor number 4 is Wardlow. And it was really confusing because it made it sound like MJF was going to be the referee of this match, but then later on it had a graphic where it said Wardlow versus Chris Jericho, and MJF is going to be ringside. So I don't know if MJF's the referee. I don't know if he's going to be on ringside. I kind of hope he's the referee because you can get really creative with that match. And a lot of people were bringing up the finish of 1998, Steve Austin versus Dude Love, with Vince McMahon as the referee, and Steve Austin took Vince McMahon's hand when he was knocked out, and he smacked the mat, did the 1-2-3. So we could have seen that. I hope he's the referee, but it seems like he's just going to be ringside for Wardlow. I don't know, but what do you think of this opening match? And what do you think of Wardlow being the final labor before MJF? The final boss, MJF.
Yeah, the match with Juventud and Jericho was it was kind of sloppy. But I mean they're both. I mean Jericho's 50, and I think Juventud's like 46. So I mean I don't think we're gonna go into this expecting a barn burner. At this stage. I mean these are guys who wrestled each other. In their young prime. About 25 years ago. So I mean in 2021, I don't think you can really expect a great match between both guys. But they ended up finishing the match well, and that top rope juice effect, a thing of beauty. That was definitely the biggest moment of that match. Jericho really pulled that off very well, and props to Juventud too for taking it and for really selling it. It just overall looked very good. And MJF on commentary is always a treasure. Always a treasure to hear MJF on commentary, and really healing it up on commentary too, yelling at Aubrey, yelling at everybody around him. It's great to see. And now next week in Pittsburgh, we get Wardlow versus Jericho as the fourth labor. Some people I feel like were kind of underwhelmed by it. They were kind of hoping maybe for another surprise since MJF's already surprised us with guys like Nick Gage and Juventud Guerrera. But like you said, Joseph, I'm hoping MJF will be the special guest ref. It seemed like they even said it on commentary like after the match too. So I was like, I'm not sure what to really expect next week, but I'm hoping that they do actually have MJF as special guest referee. And like you brought up, with Austin and Foley all the way back in '98 with Vince as the ref. I hope they do that same thing with MJF. That would totally work. That's like pretty much the best route you can really go with MJF as a special guest referee because obviously he's going to be biased towards Wardlow.
Yeah.
So it makes all the sense in the world if MJF's going to be the special ref that he gets knocked out in some way. Don't know how it happens, but maybe Wardlow accidentally knocks him out, and then Jericho maybe hits the Judas effect, then 1-2-3. With Jericho grabbing MJF's hand. So we'll see what happens with that. But, I'm still looking forward to Jericho and Wardlow next week. It should be a pretty good match. And, but yeah, this was, not the hottest opens, not our usual hot open to Dynamite, but it did its job, I think, at the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that was the opening to Dynamite. Not bad, but I mean, it was solid. I'll give them. It was solid. We then got into 6-man tag. Man, Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin against Daniel Garcia, who's one of the top independent wrestlers in the world, and 2.0 Ever Rise. Put those hands in the air and walk out with your hands straight like this. Woo! Ever Rise is all elite, man. I know how excited you were. You told me last night.
Yes. 2.0, the former Ever Rise. 2.0 rules. Remember that, people. 2.0 rules. What a year. I mean, let's just talk about what a year it's been for these two men. I mean, they get treated as enhancement talent in NXT. They're nothing more than that. They get their own show on WWE's YouTube channel. They get released literally after they posted their first episode. And here they are in AEW tonight on Dynamite, going up against three of the top stars in this entire company with Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin. I mean, I don't know how much of a shift you could ask for in a year, but man, Tony Khan is the man. Tony Khan is the freaking man. He really loves giving out opportunities to so many people, and you just love to see it. This was very, very, very fun. Very fun. I mean, I didn't expect this to be like as fun as it was, but by the end of it, man, I was pumped. I was like, man, this was great. Like this was just great fun. And we obviously knew who was going to win. I think it wasn't too hard.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know. I mean, they came a little close, but in the end, Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley prevailed in the trios match. One of the biggest holy shit moments for me in this match, that suicide dive by Darby Allin. Holy shit, man. What a suicide. Darby Allin does not care. He never cares about his body. I swear, I literally did not know he was coming when what was it, Matt Parker, I believe is his name, something like that. Matt Lee. He stood face to face. First of all, I love the interaction between him and Sting. I love how Sting's just standing there looking at him. He's like, "Are you the actual Sting? Are you actually?" I mean, it's so good, man. It's like you don't have to try so hard to have such great comedic timing. It's so good. And then all of a sudden, Darby comes in like a bullet out of a freaking revolver, just right through, just kills Matt Lee. I mean, Darby Allin is so great, man. I mean, I don't know how this guy still comes back the next week and wrestles, but he's just a freaking animal. But yeah, this was overall very fun, man. I also love the visual after the match of Sting throwing up the two sweets with Eddie Kingston, John Moxley. That was a great visual too, man. You can just tell they're having a good time, and I just love to see that. So
yeah, you could. This is literally, all jokes aside here with your favorite tag team in NXT, now in AEW. All jokes aside, this is the definition of giving out opportunities. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these guys never got a real opportunity in NXT to prove what they can do.
No, they never did. I mean, they came out and they just kind of put over the other tag teams in NXT, and it would have been nice if I feel like NXT maybe would have given them a little bit of an opportunity, but AEW right out of the gates, Tony Khan just calling them up, and it's like, hey, I think we want to set you guys up with 3 of the top guys in AEW. I mean, what a way to start a little career in AEW is by going up against 3 of the biggest stars in the entire company. I mean, you never seen anything like that with them in NXT, and it's just really cool that AEW and Tony Khan gave them that opportunity.
Yeah. Daniel Garcia, too, I heard he is one of the independent wrestlers in the world. And I actually heard from multiple sources, not personally, but I've read that all 3 of them are signed by AEW. So if that is the case, good on them. Daniel Garcia worked really good with Darby Allin. 2.0, you would never know how good of a tag team they were, how they were booked in NXT, but these guys held their own against John Moxley and Eddie Kingston tonight. They hanged in with them the entire match, and you really got to give it to them. And excuse me, got a little hiccup there, but Darby got the win at the end with the coffin drop. And this was a very fun 6-man tag. I was a fan of it.
Yeah, big time. It was a lot of fun, man. And I don't think you can ask more out of AEW when it comes to this match, man. AEW knows how to deliver a fun show. So.
The next thing I can ask of AEW though is a graphic tomorrow. I better for you, we better get a graphic of 2.0 is All Elite, and
man, I think that's going to outdo every other All Elite banner we've ever seen for any other wrestler. I mean, 2.0 becoming All Elite. I mean, come on, man. I mean, we thought CM Punk coming in and Daniel Bryan coming in was crazy. I mean, 2.0 becoming All Elite. I mean, dude, the Forbidden Door is just wide. It's just so wide open now, man. I mean, you forget New Japan, forget Impact, man. This is where the real Forbidden Door is at.
Oh man, you gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. Christian Cage against the Blade. This was a solid match. Christian, I really don't have much to say about the match. The match was a setup for what to happen in a backstage segment. So very quickly, Christian Cage won clean after the Blade was going for the knucks, and Christian gave him a spear, and he pinned the Blade. So that was the match. But on the backstage segment, I think it was Tony Schiavone who was like, after tonight, it's been confirmed from Tony Khan that you are the #1 contender for the AEW World Title. And I'm like, oh no. And he said, well, I've came to AEW for one reason. It's to grind my way to the top to get to the world title once again. And he said that to Kenny Omega 5 months ago. the Dynamite after Revolution, and he said, next week in Pittsburgh, I'm going to be there on Wednesday, and I'm also going to be there on Friday. And to be in this company, you can't be good. You have to be elite. And I'm like, oh, no. Don't tell me we're going for Christian Cage and Kenny Omega at All Out. I don't want that. Now, pump the brakes. It'll be a great match, but I don't think it's pay-per-view worthy. I think you're better off. To be perfect, I mean, it's obvious the match is happening now. He's gonna get the shot, but what would make, I don't know if it makes sense, but you already have all the hype for CM Punk on August 20th. You might as well just stack that show up. Why don't we put Christian Cage and Kenny Omega on Rampage for the AEW World Title?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Why don't we just do that? Because I know that this is happening, so.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up as well. I was thinking, maybe they don't do the match at All Out. Maybe they save somebody else for Kenny Omega at All Out. So that's why I'm maybe thinking maybe they're teasing either for, I don't know if they do it as soon as next Friday, but maybe for that August 20th Rampage where we pretty much know CM Punk is going to be there. And like you said, Joseph, might as well stack that show up as best as you can. Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage for the world title. I mean, that's a pretty great way to stack up that Rampage episode, if I do say so myself. So, we'll see what happens. I would prefer that, honestly, because I think a lot of people are in the same camp as you and I, where it's like we're not really that excited about a Christian Cage, Kenny Omega world title match happening at All Out. So I think it's better that maybe you just do it beforehand, maybe, and like we just talked about, that August 20th edition of a Rampage, that'd be probably the perfect destination for it. And I have a bit of an idea of who Omega could very well face at All Out, which I feel will be a better match and a better pay-per-view worthy match. What if Omega faces Jay White at All Out?
Is he gonna show when's he gonna show up on AEW? Could he show up on August 20th?
He could, maybe. Hey, you never know, man. He's already shown his face on Impact. We already seen he's shown his face on Impact. I mean, it's bound to happen at some point that Jay White shows his face on AEW television. Honestly, I would not be against whatsoever. We see Jay White and Omega, and maybe make it title for title. Jay White is currently the never open weight champion in New Japan. Well, if they made it title for title, man, Kenny Omega adds another title to his belt collection. I don't know, man. I kind of like the sound of that.
I do too. Thinking about that, that is a better pay-per-view match than going with Christian Cage. Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega is an underwhelming match, and it's just not pay-per-view worthy to me. Do you feel the same way? We talked about this last week as well. We might as well talk about it again. Yeah. It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. Omega and Christian's definitely happening, but if you really want a better pay-per-view feel, I feel like Omega and White is the way to go, man. Their last bout, you have the story there with these two guys that Jay White brought up. Jay White beat Omega the last time they went one-on-one. He defeated him for that IWGP United States Championship. Yeah, I believe it was a few years ago. Before AEW even was a thing. Jay White had beaten them for the U.S. title over in New Japan. So Jay White has that over Kenny Omega, and that's got to be eating Kenny Omega up. We're bound to get a second match between those two guys. And hey, what better place to do it than in Chicago, Illinois at All Out? I feel like that's the perfect destination for these two men to clash. And again, maybe make it title for title, never open weight championship, and the AEW world title on the line. I mean, that's a pay-per-view match when you really look at it.
Yeah, and you're spreading open the forbidden door even more. And it's good for New Japan, because not only is the IWGP US Championship being featured on AEW television, now the never open weight title is being featured on television. So it's a win-win for both companies, and you'll get New Japan fans to watch the show. But I mean, if you're a fan of New Japan, I have no idea why you're not watching AEW, but you'll get New Japan's interest in that match, and you'll get AEW's interest. It's their pay-per-view. So that is a much better scenario than going with Christian Cage. And say it is Christian Cage. that match should not main event All Out. Not, I mean, most of the time the world title should main event all the pay per view. But if for this case, if Christian Cage is main eventing All Out as going to face Kenny Omega at All Out, I don't think that's number one. It's not pay per view worthy. Number two, especially, it's not main event worthy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if we do in fact get it All Out, your main event should be CM Punk and Darby Allin. It's CM Punk's hometown. It's CM Punk's first match back in wrestling after 7 years. That is way more main event worthy than Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega. I'm sorry to disappoint some people out there that may think Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega is main event worthy, but it's not. I mean, if CM Punk's gonna return for All Out, have his first match back in 7 years in his hometown at All Out, that's main event worthy against Darby Allin, who's one of the hottest rising stars in pro wrestling today.
Bro, it doesn't. Even if he's facing Jay White, say your scenario works and it happens, I would have Punk and Darby main event over White and Omega. That's just me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just feel like I mean, CM Punk should not be in any match other than the main event. I feel like that's definitely something he deserves too after being gone for so long, and I mean the hometown crowd deserves that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're all right with that scenario. But after this, Tony Schiavone was in the ring and he introduced Britt Baker, and she talked about carrying the women's division and winning the title in Daly's place last May in front of against Sheeta. Then out came Red Velvet. Red Velvet comes out, stirring the pot, and she came to stir the pot, and she's like, "I am 22-4." First off, Tony Schiavone asked what she was doing here, and she said, "I am 22-4 this year in 2021, and I have won, I think, 8 matches in a row. I don't know where she is in the rankings. I think Thunder Rosa is number 1 right now, but she says I've won 8 matches in a row, and I'm coming out here to take what I want, and that is the women's championship." And Britt Baker laughed about it because she said, "Well, last time I faced you, I beat you in 3 minutes right here on Dynamite." And she's like, "Well, things have changed from then. I was an enhancement talent, and now I've grown, I've matured, and I'm ready to take your title and be the women's champion." And Britt Baker took her challenge, and they brawled for a little bit. So apparently Britt Baker injured her wrist. I don't know. Did we talk about that last week?
I don't know if we did or not, but yes, she did injure her wrist from her match with Nyla Rose. It looks to not be serious, considering that next Friday night on the premiere of Rampage, we will be getting a women's championship match in Britt's hometown of Brittsburg, Pennsylvania.
I think that's probably going to be your main event on the first night of Rampage. Britt Baker in her hometown defending the women's championship. There's no way that match is not going on last. That match needs to go on last. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the hometown, just like we just talked about, CM Punk, the hometown hero. It's only right for the hometown hero to main event.
Absolutely. But I thought this was actually a great segment, and good for Red Velvet, man. She's getting some spotlight in her shine in AEW, as you know. After she was an enhancement and a jobber, of course. She was in that big match with Cody Rhodes, Shaquille O'Neal, and Jade Cargill in March. She then feuded with Jade Cargill. Then she went on. Hasn't been on Dynamite in a while, but last time she was on Dynamite was, I think, June. I think early June. And then building up, stacking up wins on Dark and Television. I don't watch those shows, but I know you do, and she's probably been winning a lot over there. And now it makes sense as to her getting a women's championship match because she's won 8 matches in a row. This is not a situation where in WWE you just walk up to the women being the women's champion and you're like, I want a match for your title at this show, and the champion's like, okay, you're on. Red Velvet has a good case as to why she has a championship match, but the AEW haters out there won't say that because they want to hate AEW just to try to be cool. And at the end of the day, they're not cool.
Right. Yeah. While you're defending losers getting title shots every week on Raw and SmackDown, I'm going to be over here looking at logical booking when wins and losses do matter. And little details like Red Velvet bringing up that she's won 7 matches in a row. That's very important. Pro wrestling fans, or pro wrestling fans that watch Raw and SmackDown with losers getting title shots every week on Raw and SmackDown. Here's something for you. Wins and losses matter. Little details like that matter on a pro wrestling program. What sense does it make? You can't look at a show and think, wow, this person's lost every week up to this point and they're getting a title shot. This is great. No, you don't think that. You can't think that. Use your brains. It's just when I watch stuff like this on AEW, it puts a smile on my face. I'm like, yes, logic. It makes sense. This I mentioned on Twitter tonight. This mini feud right now with Red Velvet and Britt Baker is already 10 times better than what she was doing with Nyla Rose. Like I have already forgotten completely about what was going on with Britt Baker and Nyla Rose because it wasn't all that good at all. Let's just be honest. And now with this little mini feud with Red Velvet, I'm already hooked. This promo battle between these two tonight, I'm already hooked on it because it makes, and you got a babyface and a heel too. It's not heel versus heel, it's babyface heel. It just makes sense. When pro wrestling makes sense, that's when it's good. Stop defending garbage and illogical booking, people. I'm so tired of reading about it on Twitter. It's like, use your freaking brains for once, please.
Absolutely. I agree with I agree with everything you just said. So there's that. And before we move on to the next segment, it's confirmed by Sean Ross Sapp. We'll move on to the Elite and Hangman after this. That AEW's return is going to be for Daly's Place. AEW's return is going to be Wednesday, December 29th, returning at Daly's Place, and that is close to 1 year that they did the anniversary show for Brody Lee. So I hope we do a 1 year anniversary show for Brody Lee, and look at that yearly thing. I fucking love that, dude. That's fucking the genuine thing about the love with AEW is going out and doing stuff like that. I really hope that's a yearly thing.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's awesome. December 29th. That's a good gap to compare because like, you know, we didn't have that much of a gap at all going back to Daly's Place tonight. It was literally like over a month, and so like it wasn't too much of a break. So I'm happy we're not getting a nice longer gap, but also yeah, I mean making it a 1 year anniversary show for Brody Lee, man. I mean, I feel like it's only right, and I mean it's of course something AEW would do because it's a very classy move, and they're all about doing a lot of classy moves. You know, they're not perfect by any means, but they've shown a lot of times, man, that they know how to deliver with classy moments. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So just want to put that out there. AEW is going to be returning to Daly's Place December 29th. It's probably the last episode of 2021. And that is close to 1 year. AEW held that's 1 year that AEW held the tribute show for Brody Lee. We had the Elite. First off, we had Adam Hangman Page out there with Tony Schiavone, clearing up the air what he said earlier. If you guys did not, this happened before this segment, but Adam Hangman Page said to the Dark Order, I need to do stuff on my own. I need to take care of my business with the Elite on my own. I knew that was coming. Ever since they lost last week, you kind of get that direction that they're going to go their separate ways, and I'm not shocked by that at all. But then the Elite come out, and I have to bring this up. They were doing a backstage skit earlier. Luke Gallows, I love you, dude. What the hell? Well, what the hell were you wearing tonight, man? You were wearing a big yellow robe, and it looks like you're trying to be like Ric Flair. Is Luke Gallows? Are you hinting that Ric Flair is all elite? I don't know, but man, I had to bring that up. I just had to bring that up, dude.
Yeah. No, there were a lot of Easter eggs planted with that little backstage segment. Like I saw a few people talking about it. There were little Easter eggs like the Cookie Monster shirt that Kenny Omega was repping. I mean, CM Punk, CM Punk reference, and then the Ric Flair, of course, with the robe with Luke Gallows, the Hawaiian shirts. There was somebody said that that could be a hint at Bray Wyatt. And a lot of Easter eggs planted. I mean, again, we don't know what AEW's got up their sleeves. You know, we have our ideas, and there's a few things we know what's coming. But I mean, Tony Khan is what a businessman that guy is, man. He's just got all these tricks up his sleeve. He's just leaving us just guessing and like wanting more. It's insane to watch.
So the elite are out there, and they're like, Kenny Omega's like, we're seeing what you're trying to do. You're trying to come back with us because now you don't have any friends anymore, Paige. You're by yourself. And Paige was like, that's the last thing I came out here to do. And Omega was like, good, because we don't allow losers in the elite. So let me get this straight, Mr. Omega. You're telling me Adam Hangman Page is a loser and Brandon Cutler's not? Come on now. What the hell, dude?
I mean, they need an errand boy. They need an errand boy. I guess Brandon Cutler's their man for it. So, you know, I mean, I guess to them, he's not as big of a loser, and they still they just need somebody to run their errands for him. So I don't know. I don't know.
You're telling me Michael Nakazawa's not a loser? Come on now.
Again, they need their errand boys. They need their errand boy. Whether it's Brandon Cutler, Michael Nakazawa, they need people to do some dirty work for them. I mean, because they can't. They're already champions, man. They can't do all the work themselves. I mean, they're already doing so much. They need their little errand boys or little sidekicks to help them out every once in a while, you know.
So Page then smacks Omega in the face. The Elite are doing a 4-on-1 beatdown on Hangman Page. The Dark Order come running out, but Uno and Grayson stop the rest of the Dark Order from getting in the ring. Johnny Hungy is pissed. Alex Reynolds is pissed. Uno and Grayson are blocking the rest of the Dark Order to run into the ring. And while that's happening, inside the ring, Hangman is getting hit with the Magic Killer, 3 BTE triggers, and then Kenny Omega hits him over the head with the AEW World Championship, and they stand over Hangman Page. I think, and I could be wrong, but I tweeted it out. I think this segment was meant to write Hangman Adam Page off of television because it was reported this past weekend that plans are Adam Hangman Page is not even going to be on the All Out card come September 5th. And you know what? I was not a fan of that at first, but thinking about it, it makes sense because logically, if y'all think about it, who is Hangman Page going to face at All Out that actually makes sense outside of Kenny Omega? He's not. So you might as well write him off, and I'm sure he'll come out fresh at a huge pop after All Out. Maybe he makes his big return in Arthur Ashe. Who knows?
That'd be quite a sight, man. Arthur Ashe with that big stadium full of people. I think that's the most ideal return date for Hangman Page. But yeah, you know, it's funny how people last week wanted to say like this was the end of the story with Omega and Page. Like people, it's all about patience. It's all about patience and waiting just a little bit longer. Yes, we're not getting Omega and Page at All Out. Page is not going to be showing up at All Out. Page, I think I think he's about to have a kid. Him and his wife are expecting. So Page, I think I agree with Joseph. I think he is taking time off. I think this was the way to write him off of television. Then once he makes his big return, the ovation he's going to get is going to be so thunderous, man. And I'm telling you, folks, just wait it out just a little bit longer. November, Full Gear, St. Louis, Missouri. Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Title is your main event. Mark my words. That is your main event. The AEW World Title. That is where we will see Kenny Omega be dethroned as the AEW World Champion. Hangman Page finally gets his time to shine, his moment in the sun as the new AEW World Champion.
Now, how do you think he's going to get there? Because he lost his 10-man tag last week. Could AEW and Tony Khan, after All Out, could they take the gauntlet route that Kofi Kingston did to get to his championship match with Daniel Bryan, where he's got to beat Cutler, Nakazawa, two losers. He's got to beat the Good Brothers. He's got to beat the Young Bucks. And then whether Kenny Omega's in that or not, could you see them going that route and having Hangman run the gauntlet against the Elite?
I like that idea. I can see that. I can see that definitely happening. I feel like that's a great way to, take time from the big return, the ideal return for Page being at Arthur Ashe on September 22nd. From that time up until Full Gear, I feel like that's a great way to do it. I don't know if you just do a gauntlet match just straight up on one episode, or you span it out for weeks, but I do like that idea a lot. I feel like that's one of the best routes to go with Page getting a shot once again at Omega.
That's probably the best route to go, I think. I think that makes sense as well. So we'll have to see what happens. But, folks, the storyline between Page and Omega is far, far from over, even if Page is not going to be featured on All Out pay-per-view 1 month, September 5th. The TNT Championship was on the line tonight as Miro, God's favorite champion, defended the title against Lee Johnson. And this match went about 10 minutes. Lee Johnson had a very good performance tonight. I would not say it was a breakout performance, but it was good for what it was. We all knew Miro was going to win this match. Of course, Miro is not dropping that title until next year. I'm telling you right now, if he drops the title before 2022, it's too early for him to drop that title. There's no way you're gonna stop this man's momentum right now that he is on. He is living the God's favorite champion gimmick in AEW, and I absolutely loved it. You know what I loved about the end of the match? When he locked in that the game over, Lee Johnson passed out, which, by the way, made Lee Johnson look good because he didn't tap out. He passed out just like Brian Pillman Jr. So there goes AEW making their stars look good in defeat, which I'd like to see. But what I loved about the end of this is Miro has Lee Johnson's head in his arms, and he's patting his head as he's celebrating his victory. Bro, that's so perfect, man. I loved it so much.
Oh, it's great, man. Miro is the best.
He is the man right now, dude.
He is such a beast, man. I mean, little stuff like that, man, really ties his whole gimmick together as God's favorite champion. I just love the fact that he'll just kill his opponent and just caress them and be like, "It's okay, I forgive you. It's okay." And it's so good. It's just, man, what a turnaround for Miro. It's just I just say it every week, man. Miro is just great. And yeah, like you said, Joseph, he shouldn't drop that title before 2022, man. He's on a tear. I mean, he shouldn't be stopped by anybody. I mean, not until you have like somebody who we all know as fans is ready to be the one to dethrone Miro. And when that time comes, we'll see. But yeah, Miro shouldn't be dropping that TNT title anytime soon. I'm interested to see who they might have set up for him for All Out. I'm not quite sure who they could have just yet, but I'm interested to see who they'll have lined up though.
Man, it's a month away, but a name that I got in my head, I don't know if he's gonna beat him, but I think Sammy Guevara would be a good opponent for Miro at All Out. Now, people look at Sammy Guevara as somebody who could beat Miro for the TNT title, but clearly, when push comes to shove, I think that guy's going to end up being Jungle Boy. But I think Sammy Guevara versus Miro would be a great TNT title match at All Out. That's probably the route I would go, to be honest with you.
Definitely not against him. Sammy Guevara versus Miro for the TNT title. I mean, sign me up for that. That's a great pay-per-view quality match, if you ask me.
Would you be okay if Sammy didn't go over?
I'd be fine with it. Sammy's gonna have his time. Sammy's gonna be all. I think the thing we know with Sammy Guevara is he's gonna be fine. I don't think there's gonna be any really putting a massive halt on his momentum. I think he's already a made man right now in AEW. I feel like, once the time comes for him to win a title, it's gonna be very sweet, and I think people are gonna be patient enough to wait it out just a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if I had to pick, who would your guy be? If my guy's Sammy Guevara, who would you have face Miro at All Out?
It's tough. Trying to remember who could be in the top 5 right now. I mean,
Orange Cassidy?
Maybe, yeah. That's. I mean, Orange Cassidy, I feel like has to have some sort of role at All Out. I mean, he's one of the most over guys in the company. I just feel like you have to have him in something. But yeah, Cassidy versus Miro could be a possibility too. We'll have to see what they plan. But I'm I feel like whatever they decide to choose, it's going to end up resulting in a great match. So
absolutely. So we'll have to see what happens there. Legit Laila Hirsch versus the Bunny. This match actually got a decent amount of time, which it's a good thing to see. I'm happy about that. This was actually a good match. Laila Hirsch got the win with the armbar on the Bunny. The Bunny tapped. Camille, the NWA Women's first off, I didn't even know she was the champion. My apologies. I still thought Serena Deeb was still the champion, to be perfectly honest with you.
I forgot. Like I once I was reminded that Camille won the title, I was like, oh yeah, she did. And like, so I think I even mentioned the other week, like Serena Deeb being the NWA Women's Championship. I was like, oh yeah, she did lose the title, didn't she? But hey man, I mean, what a woman to take it away from her with Camille, man. Camille, she has got the look down to a freaking T, man. You look at this woman, you could tell you don't want to mess with this woman at all. Even if you're even if like a man stepped up to her, she would still probably whoop their ass. She is nobody to try. I've watched her work in NWA. She's very good. I know she was lined up with Nick Aldis for a little bit, and so she's the real deal, man. She reminds me a lot. It might just be the physique, but she does remind me a lot of Chyna. Just the way she looks, the way she presents herself. It's just she looks like a total badass, and I just love it. And man, the visual of her and Laila Hirsch in the ring together, my goodness, man. I don't know if I'm gonna purchase the NWA Empower All Women's Pay-Per-View. I might. I'm considering it, but what a matchup that's gonna be between those two women. I mean, David versus Goliath, if you've ever seen it when it comes to these two women, man, it's gonna be a sight to see. And yeah, but it's really cool to see Camille on AEW television. I hope that at some point we can see her more on AEW television, because from what I've seen from her work, she's very good, and I feel like she could definitely be almost like a Jade Cargill-esque type of figure on the show, where she has that dominating presence to her, and she can really make a big mark in the women's division.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So the size difference was overwhelming, to say the least, with this. But before we get to the main event, Cody Rhodes, Malakai, I'm sure we're gonna have a like we did a little bit in the beginning. We'll have a lot to talk about with this one. But next week AEW is going to be in Pittsburgh, and we got Chris Jericho versus Wardlow as Labor number 4. We got Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander in a one-on-one match. We also have Evil Uno and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order against the Good Brothers for the Impact Tag Team Championship. So Impact Wrestling getting showcased on AEW. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign, I think, man. I think that should be a fucking awesome match as well. So your quick thoughts on that match?
Yeah, that's definitely caught me by surprise. I didn't expect the Impact tag titles to be defended on Dynamite. That's great. That's just nothing but good press for Impact, man. I mean, that's something that could really fuel their shows a little bit more. Because people will see the Impact tag titles being defended on Dynamite, they'll probably be like, "Huh, Impact? Well, maybe I should tune into that a little bit." And it seems like a little bit more eyes have been getting on Impact lately with AEW merging with them, and you got New Japan being involved. I mean, all these companies, man, working together. It's all coming together very well for all these companies, and so I don't know, man. I mean, could we very well see new Impact Tag Team Champions in the Dark Order, man? I mean that would sure be a news headline, that's for sure.
No, I don't see them winning the titles, to be honest with you. But anything could happen. Anything could happen. But then Friday Rampage debut is going to be a huge night. I might as well just say it right here. With the move for Rampage, I'm making the change. We're going to do Rampage on Friday nights and Saturdays or Sundays. We're going to do a mixture of SmackDown and news. So just to put that out there, SmackDown is going to be moved to the weekends. Rampage is going to be your official Friday night review here on the Big Fight Field channel. I'm very excited for that. Me and Wesley Williams right here, the man who copied my shirt tonight, Friday nights for Rampage. And then before I almost forgot to bring it up. We got a 4-man commentary booth for Rampage. I don't know how big of a fan I am of that, to be perfectly honest with you. 4 people seems a bit too much, to be perfectly honest with you. We got Taz and Excalibur. They are phenomenal together on AEW Dark, so I think that's a great idea. Jericho's going to be there. I love Jericho on commentary, so I got no problem with that. And obviously, we got Mark Henry there as well. I've never really heard. I don't think I've ever heard Mark Henry on commentary before, so that should be pretty interesting. So we got Taz, Excalibur, Chris Jericho, and Mark Henry as the commentary team for Rampage. Wesley Williams, your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, yeah, we know Taz, Excalibur, Jericho, they're all great on commentary. We've seen this on many occasions. The thing I'm most intrigued by is to see how Mark Henry does. Yeah, I've never heard his commentary work. I've been thinking, with Paul White being on Elevation with Tony Schiavone, I feel like they've become a duo that's meshed pretty well over all the time that Elevation's been around. I really liked when Eddie Kingston joined. I don't think it was this week's Elevation episode. It was last week. Eddie Kingston was just having a good time on commentary, man. He was just having fun, and I mean, it really meshed well with him and Paul White and Johnny. Even if they messed up a little bit, they were still like very comedic whenever they did mess up a little bit. But yeah, 4 men for a 1-hour show, a bit overkill if you ask me. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe it won't sound so bad when we actually do watch Rampage starting next week. I did mention on Twitter, a part of me was hoping that TK could call up good old Mauro Ranallo and get him on the Rampage, man. I mean, golly, if he had gotten Mauro Ranallo, and hey, man, I'm not ruling it out, man. Anything could happen in pro wrestling in 2021. We have already seen so many crazy things happen this year, and it's just crazier things are bound to happen. So I'm not ruling out Mauro showing up in AEW one day, but man, I was really hoping, really hoping he'd be on that commentary team for Rampage, but maybe one day, man. I mean, Mauro, gosh, I gotta have that voice back in pro wrestling, like full time again. It's just that he brings so much life and energy to a pro wrestling program. No matter what anybody else thinks, if they're not the biggest fan of Mauro, I mean, the guy knows how to bring such presence and excitement to a pro wrestling show. So we'll see how things play out with the 4-man commentary booth. It may not be as bad as we might think it could be, but I'm just excited for Rampage as a whole, man. I mean, especially excited for August 20th. Rampage. I just love the fact that we're gonna start having AEW twice a week. I mean, it's like, what's better than AEW once a week? That's right, having it twice a week, and we're gonna be here on Big Five Field to cover it 2 nights a week, man. I'm so excited to talk about, man. I love talking about more AEW on the Big Fight Field channel, giving you guys the best content on YouTube that you could ever find.
Damn right, brother. Damn right. But we're gonna get into the main event here. Cody Rhodes versus Malakai Black. Folks, I don't care if I'm stretching it a little bit. Malakai Black has the best entrance in all Elite Wrestling, and you're not gonna change my mind. What a fucking entrance that was tonight, man. The music was chosen by him, and it was a good. I haven't listened to it yet. It hasn't came out, but when it does come out, I will listen to it. But the lighting, when the lights go out and it's got him in a certain part of the ring, I loved that so much. The freaking mask, man, that he was wearing, my goodness. He's got the best entrance in AEW. Now it's his first entrance. I'm that confident in it.
Yeah, Malakai Black, I mean, what a way to make a presence, man. I mean, that was one of the things I was really looking forward to tonight, was seeing how they do his entrance. We know how phenomenal his entrance was in NXT, and then he went to the main roster, and they main rostered it. So that's all great. But man, just seeing his entrance here in AEW, man, it was great to see, man, and just an amazing entrance, man. I mean, everything about Malakai Black is he's just so untouchable right now. This guy cannot be stopped. He's on a warpath. He's on a massive wrath, and it's just so beautiful to see.
Folks, I don't even, like I said in the beginning, I don't know how much offense Cody Rhodes even got in this match. This match went 5 minutes. Match started at 9:47. I was quite nervous. I'm like, are they going to do a time limit draw in this match? I didn't think that Malakai Black was going to take the L tonight. There's no way he should have. It was simple. Malakai Black wins clean over Cody. And boy, did he won clean all right. Cody barely got offense. Malakai Black went for the knee, a couple chops. Cody went for the top rope. Malakai Black gave him a jumping knee strike. Cody went falling through the table on the outside. He goes back in the ring. And Malakai Black gave him a black mask. I completely missed the black mask because I was actually on Twitter at that point. And I saw Bryce Wensberg. I saw the 3 count going like, what just happened? Like, I'm literally on my phone on Twitter, and I'm like, what the heck? So I actually had to rewind it and watch the finish again. He hit the black mass. He didn't even go for the cover. He put his foot on Cody Rhodes' chest, and he beat Cody in 5 minutes. I never want to hear somebody on social media ever again say Cody Rhodes does not put over talent. And if you still have the audacity to say that, you, my friend, are a fucking idiot. And I'm putting that in the most polite way I possibly can. You are a complete idiot. And before we get to the post-match segment, what did you think about the match? Malakai Black versus Cody Rhodes.
Couldn't have booked it any better myself. You really could not have. I mean, 5 minutes. And I even mentioned a little bit on Twitter, but I'm going to say it right here. I'm going to call out all these Cody Rhodes detractors out there. You don't got to like Cody Rhodes. I get not everybody's going to be a fan of his, but not everybody maybe likes his style. Maybe they don't like the way he cuts promos, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, you got to show respect for the guy. You can clearly tell that the guy loves this business. He loves AEW. He loves the fans. Look what he did for a little girl in the freaking crowd tonight, and all the other instances where he gave his belt to little kids in the crowd. And it's just like, how in the world can you hate Cody Rhodes? How? Like, tell me how you can hate this guy when he endlessly does so many good things. It's like, maybe you think he's a bit egotistical, but in my opinion, I think the guy is one of the most humble, one of the most, respected individuals in this business. This guy, does so much for other competitors. He does so much for AEW, does so much for this business, and he showed that clear as day tonight. He's shown that in the past. I mentioned the names on Twitter to MJF, Brody Lee, Darby Allin. Now tonight, Malakai Black. Men that Cody Rhodes put over, and people still have the balls. They have the balls to say Cody Rhodes is selfish. He's a mini Triple H. Nah, I don't think so. Cody Rhodes is a guy that cares about pushing the future. He's a guy who has a vision of the future, and he sees bright things for pro wrestling, and he wants to help with that vision. That's why he helped create AEW along with Tony Khan and with the Elite. That's why we see AEW where it is today, because Cody Rhodes helps with that. And again, you don't have to like Cody Rhodes. You don't have to be a Cody Rhodes fan. But at the end of the day, I highly, highly encourage you to at least respect the guy, because he clearly cares about putting other talent over. Look what he did for Malakai Black tonight. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Black mass, it's over. And Cody Rhodes loses. Even the post-match, and we're going to get into that, but even the post-match, Cody didn't even get to have the last say. Malakai Black had the last say at the very end of Dynamite tonight. And so I don't want to hear it from people saying, again, Cody Rhodes is something. I don't want to hear it. No more of that. And if you still say that, you're a blithering idiot.
Shit, I mean, you just talked about the we're going to get into the final segment with Cody and Black. You might as well, you could talk about it, my friend, and then I'll give my opinion on it, and we'll wrap it up.
Well, clearly we saw after the match, Tony Schiavone came in the ring with Cody, gave him a microphone, gave him a crutch to help himself up from his leg injury he suffered during the match. And Cody just went on to deliver a very heartfelt promo to the AEW faithful in Jacksonville. And, for those of you who are also a part of the community group chat that Cody Rhodes has us in, he sent a very, very interesting message earlier in the night before the main events, pretty much just thanking the fans for everything. That's basically the basis of what the text was. And it was a bit of a cryptic message, because you kind of looked at it like, that's the Cody Rhodes delivering us this very long text, this thanking all of us. I wonder what this could mean. And I think we got a bit more of an answer, somewhat at the end of the show, as Cody Rhodes delivered a very heartfelt message to the AEW faithful. He takes one of his boots off in the middle of the ring, and that I think that turned a lot of heads for people. That signaled something that maybe we're not ready for as pro wrestling fans. But he took his boot off, and then as he was probably about ready to take his other boot off, Malakai Black comes up from behind, smashes him in the back with a crutch. Malakai Black says, "You're not going to have the final moment tonight. I won the match. I get the final moment." Malakai Black is a made man big time after tonight. And now the question remains, is Cody Rhodes retiring from pro wrestling? I mean, Excalibur even dropped the line at the end of Dynamite. Did we just see Malakai Black retire Cody Rhodes? I don't know if I don't know if I want to go as far as to say he's retiring. I mean, Cody Rhodes is in his mid-30s. I don't think this is the end. Cody Rhodes, I do believe who knows, he might take a little bit of time off. If he does take any time, he might take a little bit of time off. Joseph, you mentioned how we could see this continue into All Out, maybe a second match. I could see that. But I don't believe Cody Rhodes is retiring. I think that was something just kind of furthered the story. But we'll see what happens going forward. But it definitely left us with a huge cliffhanger. It's definitely going to keep us talking for a little bit as to what could happen next with Malakai Black and Cody Rhodes. But the big takeaway from tonight in this main event was Malakai Black is a freaking beast, and he looked just so freaking amazing. And you couldn't have booked the guy any better than you did tonight.
Yeah. I'm going to get into what I think is going to happen with this feud. Clearly, I don't think things are over between Cody Rhodes and Malakai Black, but I'm going to read you guys the message that Cody Rhodes sent to his community text earlier tonight. He says, and I quote, "Whichever way it goes tonight, in parentheses, hopefully mine, I just wanted to share where I am at in this moment. This has been a marvelous, almost 3-year run. I've been incredibly lucky to be one of a few to carry the banner for this genuine revolution. When this all started, some laughed at myself, some laughed at the Bucks and Kenny also, and now it's just became a given that this show is destination programming. The table has been set. Others can eat. I say this with no bitterness in my heart. Thank you for all of this. This is a legacy. This lives forever. So, do I think Cody Rhodes is retiring? No. The dude is only 35 years old. He's got years ahead of him, I think. I don't think he's going to wrestle when he's freaking 55 because I think he'll probably end up having his own reality TV show. He's a big name. He's on Go Big Show on TBS. But I don't think he's going to retire. I do think he's going to take a very long extended break though. AEW has such a huge roster, a laundry list of names that if Cody Rhodes is gone for an extended period amount of time, if say he's gone for a year, I don't think that's going to hurt the roster at all. I think it'll give a lot of people more opportunities while Cody goes to be with his baby girl and goes to be with Brandy and goes to be, start up his family that he wants with Brandy. And I do think that, he'll have one final match with Malakai Black with some stipulation that, if Cody loses, he's gone or whatever. A loser leaves town match maybe. And, who knows? Maybe Cody is going to come back and be a heel in 2022. Who knows? Who freaking knows? But he says the table has been set and others can eat. I think that's him hinting that we have plenty of stars on the roster that want opportunities and maybe it's time for me to step down, go do my thing with my family, and let those other people eat. And I just love that because that just shows how unselfish Cody Rhodes is as a performer and as an EVP in AEW. I mean, you hit the nail in the coffin. You gotta respect Cody Rhodes for what he's done. And for Malakai Black, this was an outstanding debut. I mean, you look at the way he won. He put one foot on Cody Rhodes' chest. I don't think it was a better moment than the Brody Lee debut, but this was a great moment, man. And you can tell Malakai Black is loving every second of this, man, and he is so happy in AEW, and you really got to feel for him, man. Everything about this, I love it. I absolutely love it, man.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. I mean, all this talent in AEW just flourishing the way that they are, and we're just seeing it on a week-to-week basis, whether it's on Dynamite, on Elevation, on Dark. It's just great to see so many talent just get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. It's just what you want. It's what you love to see in pro wrestling, man. You want to see everybody get a piece of the pie at the end of the day, and it's just really cool, man. There's so much talent there, and there's more talent to come. With the reports today about a certain woman coming into AEW, man, and of course with the Punk and Bryan news, and then maybe Adam Cole. We'll have to see what happens, man. And it's just pro wrestling. I mean, I don't know if I've seen more wild stuff happen in a calendar year in pro wrestling than 2021. I'm being complete. I mean, I've watched this product since I was a little toddler, man. I mean, I've been on this earth for 24 years, and this might be the 1 year where I've seen so many insane things happen already, and we're a little bit over halfway through the year, so we still got the second half of 2021 to get through, man. It's going to be a fun ride, and I'm just here for it, man. I just love that AEW is just giving me, a platform to just enjoy pro wrestling and enjoy these big surprises that come and enjoy all this talent that's coming in and just making a big name for themselves, man. It's beautiful to see, and I'm in it long term for the ride. It's just going to be so amazing to see.
Yeah, I think right now in my lifetime, 18 years of my life, about to be 19 in 5 days. I've watched wrestling for 13 years. I've been a fan for 13 years. And very quickly, I think right now is my favorite time to be a pro wrestling fan because of what AEW has created. I never got to see the Monday Night Wars with WCW and Eric Bischoff going to TNT with Ted Turner. I never got to see that. And I got that now with AEW and what they're doing and the movement they're creating. And this is my favorite. This is the best time to be a pro wrestling fan right now. And the wheels are not off. This is not even close. The wheels are not even close to being off for what AEW's momentum is. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the review tonight. 1 hour and 15 minutes, man. I think this is our longest review yet. That's insane.
Wow. Longest review yet, man, on the homecoming edition of AEW Dynamite. Folks, if you stuck with us up to this point, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, for myself and Joseph Conlon. Thank you so much. Your continued support for Big Fight Field means the world to us. Again, it's a pleasure to just be on here every single week to talk about the best pro wrestling product in the entire world today. And then starting next week, man, we're going to be doing it 2 times in a week, man, and I cannot wait. Dynamite on Wednesdays and Rampage on Fridays. And you already know we're going to be talking about it on our socials, baby. You're going to find me. Let me go ahead and just plug my socials right now. Let's just get it on over with. Follow me on Twitter. You already know, at big_West18. That is BIG_WES18. I talk about Dynamite, of course, every single Wednesday. And starting next week, not only will I be on Twitter and on here to talk about AEW Dynamite, but I'm also going to be on Twitter to talk about AEW Rampage on Fridays, and also on here on Fridays to talk about that very same show, AEW Rampage, starting next Friday night, August 13th, with Joseph Conlon, man. It's going to be lots of fun, man. 2 times. You're getting a double dose of the most dynamic duo and all of the IWC, and Joseph Conlon and Wesley Williams. We'll find no better AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage reviews from 2 of the best in the entire IWC with myself and Joseph Conlon. Folks, thank you again for your continued support. Hit that like button. Subscribe to Big Fight Field. Get those subscriber counts out. Follow us on our socials. Comment down below. What was your favorite part of the homecoming edition of Dynamite tonight? What did you think about Malakai Black? What did you think about the little tease at the end, a little cliffhanger about what could happen next with Cody Rhodes and with Malakai Black? Let us know down below, folks. I think we're out of here.
Folks, thank you all for watching the review. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. We got SmackDown coming up on Friday. We got big videos coming up in August. We got Rampage debuting next week. I got a vlog coming out Monday. Going to be live from Orlando on my 19th birthday for Monday Night Raw. So maybe next Wednesday, we celebrated your birthday. We might as well celebrate mine,
Of course. We got to celebrate. I'm not the only person we need to be celebrating. We got to celebrate you. The main man in charge, Joseph Conlon, man. He's about to be turning 19 years old, man. What a celebration it's going to be. We're going to have a big, great old time next week talking about Dynamite in Pittsburgh and celebrating the 19th birthday of this awesome dude right here, Joseph Conlon, man. It's going to be a fun time.
Damn right. Be celebrating next Wednesday. Be celebrating Monday with the vlog. I'll be attending Monday Night Raw, Monday night, live from Orlando at the Amway Center.
Praying for you, buddy. I'm praying for you.
I'll be okay. So subscribe to the channel for that. We got Rampage and all that stuff. Comment down below your thoughts about tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Hit the like button if you liked what you heard from myself and Wesley Williams in tonight's review. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Colin_Joseph. Follow Wes on Twitter and Instagram at big_Wes18. Folks, we will see you next Wednesday for the Dynamite review, and I will see you Friday for the SmackDown review here on the channel. So you guys have a good night. Stay safe, and as always, stay classy, and I will see you Friday night for SmackDown here on the channel.